For me, it's about building generational wealth and seeing people do better within themselves and in their lives and for their family. So when I first started this company, it was mainly because I had been through some things myself. I was super shy when I was young, like super, super shy. One of my friends was telling me like, hey, I'm so happy to see that you've grown out of your shyness. I had forgot, like, I was super shy. I always stayed in my bubble. Even now it's hard to like get out. But I'm doing a lot better. So I used to just be in the bubble. I stayed out the way, played my sports, played basketball in high school, and soccer and baseball and softball and all that growing up. I was tomboy. But yeah, so I really just stayed in my bubble. At the end of the day, I went to work, went to school, came home, took care of my son. But I always had a side hustle, always. I remember, gosh, like I grew up just in that situation where my mom worked, had multiple streams of income, and that's basically how I grew up. I seen my mom with multiple kids and a family and a job and a side hustle and all this stuff. So I always seen that, and she's still amazing to this day. I'm like, dude, like, how do you even do it? But so that's where I was. When I went through purchasing a home, it was, in my mind, it was like, okay, this is what you have to do, this is what it is. It was hard, it was a lot, it was stressful, but I didn't see it as something that a lot of people go through and have a struggle with achieving, just because I was in my bubble. I wasn't out there with a whole bunch of people communicating like that. So when how did I get there? I got a MLM job, multi-level marketing job. It wasn't really a job, it was just like I picked up another side hustle because I wanted to make some more money, and I like to travel. So I did multi-level marketing, helping people get into a program where they actually would be able to travel at discounted rates. So when I was in that, I go hard in everything. I like to give something my all, so that, you know, I can't sit here and say, oh, it didn't work, because I tried it and I went through it. And so what I did within the MLM was I gave it my all. I think I did pretty well. I was making money from it. Not a lot, just enough. You know, side hustle, you're not gonna make a lot if you're not all the way in. I was working a full-time job with kids, and I was like, okay, let me start this. But what we did was I learned the scripted presentation, made it my own, and we would do presentations. So I had a group, a team, and everything, and we would do presentations at people's houses. And I remember going to these people's houses, and they would be like nice houses. You walk in, it look good, and we do our presentation. We all cheerful and, you know, whatever, hoorah. And we would get done with these presentations, and people would they would like zone out, like, I can't afford this. And it wasn't like an objection, it was like, seriously, I can't even afford this house, I can't afford my cars, I can't afford this. How am I going to afford to go on a trip or pay $25 a month to keep this membership, and I don't even know when I can take a trip? So it was an eye-opener for me. And at that time I was just like, okay, well, you know, it is what it is, I'll move on to the next. But at the end of the day, I was like, how can this actually be? And it wasn't until I really started like digging in and helping people out with different financial things. It's like, okay, there's a lot of people that need help. And I personally had went through all of this as an accountant. I kind of took myself out of, I've dug myself into some holes before, but I've actually taken myself out of like being extremely in debt, to paying it all off and doing it all over again. But you know, dug myself out of these situations, and my know-how and what I personally did for myself, I didn't know a lot of people needed that help. So my company is Legacy Financial Services, and we are in the works of changing the money mindset of individuals and helping them achieve their financial goals. And when I started this company, it was more of, I wanted to start with, let me help people by helping them do their taxes. So I started with taxes. So when I started Legacy, I wanted to help them overcome financial situations, helping them repair their credit, helping them get their taxes right, and save money, make sure that their family is insured and that they have life insurance, just the overall financial state. Because I know that when I feel the most relaxed and there's no pressure is when I know my situation, my financial situation is good. People are living paycheck to paycheck, and I know that's stressful. I've been there, and it's like, okay, well, if I can help somebody go from not knowing where their money is going to understanding, okay, this is what I'm doing, these are the habits I have, this is how I can change that overall right there, how do you change that and how do you take action to make the changes? That overall is just like a win in my situation. In my book, that's a win. So yeah, when I started the company, we started with taxes, and I wanted it to be a one-stop financial shop, and I still do. That's what we're working towards. So we brought in the credit repair, brought in the life insurance, brought in budgeting and financial planning and financial tips. But the credit took off, so I did the credit. I was just like, okay, well, let me put my name out there. Let me show people that they can get results changing their credit. And while I got them in the door, we can talk about other things, right? So right now I'm really just known about credit. Like I started this to be like an overall, I want to be a financial planner. That's my goal, to go get that certificate, be a real financial planner. But as of right now, I'm really just known for credit. I'm way more than credit, y'all. So that's really where I wanted to pivot. And I have a passion for pouring into people. Like, I'm passionate about seeing them overcome financial hardships, understanding their financial matters, just doing better. Because you don't have to struggle. You could have a part-time job and still live within your means. So when I go through and I show somebody how to budget their money, it does make a difference in their lives, but it also shows them what they need to change. Like, if you want that better life, you're going to have to do something different. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing that I loved about this. I found that when people have trouble with one financial matter, it really stems from other things. So let's just say your credit is not great. You're looking at your credit report, and I can see, like, I could tell who's in who has financial turmoil, because you can see the late payments, you can see the charge-offs, you can see when all this stuff went into collections. And at the end of the day, it's like, okay, well, they couldn't afford to pay this, right? And there's probably something else going on. And it really usually comes to the light, like, yeah, I probably do need to take care of some stuff. So that is my goal for this company, is really just to help the whole person and not just one part of them, like one financial matter, help them overall. So that is what my aspirations are, and that's what I'm working towards. I got a whole lot of stuff planned and that is going to be changing hopefully in the near future, but it is definitely in the icebox list where we are going to be making some changes and making sure that we help people out a lot more and educate you on your financial matters and all that good stuff, because at the end of the day, it's really about helping and making that difference, changing our community, changing the way that we go through life and handle things. All right, I hope to see you guys soon, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.